The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading regional advocate for the economic and civic interests of the Hispanic business community. We seek to empower our members through a diverse range of programs and initiatives. The Chamber provides the business community with resources needed to build economic success. For more information, please visit our website at www.houstonhispanicchamber.com. Hello, welcome to the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce program, Contacto, on CBS. I'm Dr. Laura Murillo. On behalf of our Board of Directors and staff, we'd like to welcome you to our first inaugural Impact Summit. Our sponsors today include Telemundo, HBJ, Shell, Houston First, and Legacy. We'd like to thank them for sponsoring today's program, and we hope you take away a wealth of information. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome, bienvenidos. My name is Tony Canales. I'm President and General Manager of Telemundo Houston, and I'm glad to see all of you here this morning, and thank you for joining us. I also serve on the board of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and the Chamber connects the dots for corporations, businesses, and communities abroad in this great city. And I think today's event, the Hispanic Houston Impact Summit, is a perfect example of that. Thank you for being here.
Welcome, I'm Houston Business Journal President and Publisher Bob Charlet. I would just like to say on a personal note, HBJ is very proud to be a part of this event, and I want to thank Mr. Tony Canales and the Telemundo team. Their contributions and research were exceptional. Thank you so much, Tony. Without further ado, let's welcome our moderator for this morning, Dr. Laura Murillo.
We'd like to thank once again our media partners, Telemundo, and also the Houston Business Journal. The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce began these conversations late last year, and we wanted to make sure that this was our first attempt of collecting data and putting together information specific to Houston, specific to Hispanics in this city. And so before we continue with the program, it's very important that we leave here with a call to action. We don't simply want to provide you with data and information. We are urging you, we implore you to make sure you leave here today knowing that you visited the table in the back. Joining us today are our partners from NALEO and also the League of Women Voters. We urge you not to leave here today without registering to vote. That is very important. Please note that your chamber will be registering voters at every single one of our events between now and the deadline, which is in October. If you register, thank you. If you register today, you'll be able to vote in the November election. So let's make that one call to action that you can take care of today. In the audience, we have decision makers, we have executives, we have political figures, we have young emerging leaders. Our call to you, especially those in foundations and others, is to not only listen to this information and data, but to do something about it. Unfortunately, if you look at elected officials in the Houston area, For many of you who've been in the area for 20, 30 years, you know all too well that Latinos have gone backward instead of forward in terms of number of Latinos serving in elected office, serving on boards and commissions. Specifically on city council, we have only one Latino representing 42% of Houston's Hispanic population. If we look at the investments that are made by foundations and other entities that fund programs and services, Latinos are not only underrepresented, but we are also underfunded, if funded at all. So another call to action today is to encourage you, corporate CEOs that are here, executives who are here, to make sure that Latinos are in executive positions, that they serve on your corporate boards, that you have a Latino strategy for Houston. And not just be here to hear the data, but in fact, to do something about it. And we believe that the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is well positioned to identify talented, professional, educated Latinos that are here in this room and in this city. We also, as mentioned, we stand today before you to make sure that you hear the other side of the Latino experience and story with data and research. Every day in the media, we hear the rhetoric, we hear the bashing, we are targets. And the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is here to say that we will not tolerate it, that we will fight back in Houston, in the state of Texas. Please join me in welcoming Mitzi Fleissner. She's a research director at Telemundo Houston.
Good morning, everyone. I am deeply honored to have been afforded the opportunity today to speak with you in regards to an emerging market that I have had the privilege of researching for many years. That's Houston's dynamic Hispanic market. As Houstonians and businessmen and women, we should be very proud of the city that we live in. Houston has ranked #1 in many different business reports over the years, and a few of my favorite was in 2014, Houston was identified as the fastest growing city. And last year, Harris County was actually earmarked to be the fastest growing county in Texas by 2050. And in 2012, Houston surpassed New York and LA as the most diverse in the nation. And one of the many reasons for this diversification is the growth of Houston's Hispanic community. Behind LA and New York, Houston ranks 3rd in total Hispanic population. Houston's Hispanic consumers have purchasing power. And in 2014, they spent $53 billion in Houston. And that was a 44% increase over 2009. And this spending is projected to increase an additional 41% by 2019 to $74 billion. IHS Economics actually looks at spending by market, and they do forecasting for 36 different categories. Pardon me. And when we rank these categories for Houston's Hispanic population, we find that the top 15 categories represent $42 billion. And that is 79% of the total expenditures for Houston's Hispanic consumers in the market. Leading the pack, obviously, is housing, followed by $6 billion being spent in food at home, that's grocery shopping, $4 billion being spent at food away from home, that's going out to eat. So housing and food has been covered. And then an additional $3 billion is being spent in healthcare and $2.5 billion in vehicle purchases. As we have illustrated today, the growth of Houston's Hispanic population has made an impact and provides opportunities in many areas. We spoke of just a few: the purchasing power, housing, financial, even media. But as businesses today in Houston, our best opportunity for growth is to target and invite Houston's Hispanic consumers to purchase our products and services.
This year, you will have the opportunity to make your voice heard and contribute to the future of our city, our state, and our country. KHOU 11 and the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce encourage you to make a difference and cast your ballot during the elections this November. The registration deadline is Tuesday, October 11th, and Election Day is Tuesday, November 8th. Go out and get registered to vote today and make your mark on the future by voting this November. Visit harrisvotes.org for more information.
Before we continue, I would like to once again thank our media partners, Telemundo and the Houston Business Journal. Let's give them a round of applause, please. And joining us today, in no particular order, we've got Dr. Richard Murray, who's joining us today. Thank you, Dr. Murray, for being with us. We appreciate you. And he's the Director of Survey Research Institute at the University of Houston. Thank you, Dr. Murray. And also, we've partnered together on Telemundo as political analysts, and you're here today in the capacity of Associate Professor of Political Science, also at the University of Houston. So Dr. Jeronimo Cortina, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Dr. Steve Murdock, Founding Director of the Hobby Center for the Study of Texas at Rice University. Thank you, and a round of applause to our panelists, please. Thank you. And if there's one action item based on what you saw with those slides, what would that be for this audience?
Well, the most important, spending the $7 billion dollars that Latinos spend on shelter, right? Those things are tied to public policy directly.
Yeah.
So if we don't vote, if we don't elect our own representatives, regardless of political parties, right? We're gonna suffer those consequences in terms of public policies. And at the end, those things are gonna hurt our own pocketbooks.
The Hispanic community is quite diverse in their reaction to partisan politics. There are more Democrats than Republicans, but there's a sizable Republican minority, and there's also a very sizable number of folks who see themselves as political independents. So in trying to mobilize folks, there needs to be a strong stress on nonpartisanship. You're just not trying to register Hispanic Democrats or Republicans, because the community is very diverse. But it does have a sense of identity, that there are political interests at stake that are across the spectrum. And particularly in this year, I think that's going to be quite important, and we'll get into that a little bit more later. But let me bore down into numbers. We've seen this fantastic growth, but we're political scientists over on this end of the couch. We're particularly interested in things like citizen voting age population, because those are folks who can register and vote right now. And in Houston, because we had a lot of immigration in the 60s, 70s, of persons born outside the United States, particularly in the Latino community, we had a very high proportion of persons who were of voting age but were not citizens. That's changing quite dramatically now. Many more of our folks who came into the United States are becoming naturalized, so they're becoming citizens through the naturalization process. But most importantly, we have a huge number of young people that were born in the United States in, say, 1992, 1994, and they're citizens of voting age. So we've gone from having a minority of our Hispanic voting age were citizens. Now it's 60% in Harris County, and going up very rapidly. This makes this work of getting people registered and voting a lot easier, because we're seeing dramatic growth in people that are eligible to vote right now. And the task is, as my colleague suggests, to get motivated, get them registered, and then actually showing out and voting.
All right, let's go to Dr. Murdock.
Well, I think one of the things that we need to keep hitting on is the issue of the importance of the Hispanic population for the total population. You know, if you just look at a couple of figures, U.S., we know, for example, that that about 50 million Hispanics in the 2010 census. We're expecting that by 2050, there's going to be 112 million.
Say that
Hispanics.
one more time in case people didn't
From
hear.
50 million in 2010 to 112 million in 2050. In Texas, going to go from about 10 million to about 30 million in that same period of time. So very clearly, if you want to do business in Texas or the U.S., if you want to do political business in either, you had better pay attention to the Hispanic population.
Spoken by a non-Latino. Let's give him a round of applause. The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is committed to representing Latinos in a positive manner. And we are going to do that through data that's not coming only from Latinos. It's coming from the Pew Institute, it's coming from the Wall Street Journal, it's coming from all over the country. And we're going to find other partners in this room and outside of these walls to make sure that for every argument someone makes against Latinos that is negative, we will have 3 arguments showing we are positive. On behalf of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors and staff, I'd like to thank you for joining us today at our inaugural Impact Summit, brought to you by Shell, Houston First, Legacy, and by our media partners, Telemundo and the Houston Business Journal. We'll see you soon. Thank you. On behalf of our board and staff, we'd like to thank you for joining us today while we celebrate the Emerging Leaders graduation. Also joining us is our keynote speaker, Judge Ed Emmett. Once again, we thank you for joining us. Enjoy the show.
My experience in the Emerging Leaders Institute has been truly surreal.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
This is a great organization. Dr. Murillo is a great woman. A leader is somebody who can inspire other people to follow. It's not always right, not always, you can't say it's my way or the highway. You've got to be able to get people convinced that, yes, that's the direction we need to go. So that is what a leader is. The second thought is, and my thunder was stolen a little bit, when do you quit emerging? This concept of emerging leaders, no, sorry, you're already there. Whether you want to admit it, whether these people want to admit it, but the mere fact that you took the step, you engaged in the process, you got involved in this wonderful organization, that shows a certain leadership quality. Don't restrict your leadership. You can't be a leader just in one place. Leadership's going to begin at home, and that's the most difficult place of all, I will tell you, as someone who's been married to the same woman for 41 years, parent of 4 children and now have 12 grandchildren. That's the hardest group of all to lead, but it may be the most important. But clearly in your community, and by community, I don't mean an ethnic community, I mean the overall community, in your workplace, but more importantly, in areas that you're interested in. It could be a hobby, it could just be some other activity, but you're a leader wherever you are. So the things you've learned here will help you fulfill that role. Congratulations to each and every one of you. The fact that you are a part of this organization shows that you are a leader. And I am proud to be part of this organization, proud to be asked to speak to you. And I look forward to following your careers later on. So thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Mayor Sylvester Turner. Congratulations to the 2016 graduates of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Emerging Leaders Institute. You are joining an impressive group of prior graduates that numbers more than 100. In Houston, we don't care where you came from or who your parents are. What is important is what you have to offer. Everyone can have a seat at the table in this city. With that in mind, I hope you will take what you have learned and the connections you have made and use them not only for your professional advancement, but also the betterment of this great city. I truly believe that tomorrow will be better than today. Getting there means we must continue the momentum that has made Houston one of the best places to live, work, and play. As the future of this great city, we are depending on you to help make that happen. Let's get going.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading regional advocate for the economic and civic interests of the Hispanic business community. We seek to empower our members through a diverse range of programs and initiatives. The Chamber provides the business community with resources needed to build economic success. For more information, please visit our website at www.houstonhispanicchamber.com. Welcome back to our program. With us today is Sam de la Garza, and he represents Nissan. Nissan is one of today's sponsors for the Emerging Leaders, and we want to thank Nissan for their investment and support, but also hear from Sam and find out why Nissan is vested in these young emerging leaders. Good to have you here.
Very nice to be here. Thank you very much.
So tell us more. Why is Nissan involved with Emerging Leaders?
Well, Nissan really sees this as an opportunity to really connect with the community here in Houston. For the most part, I mean, it's a huge opportunity to really understand the community and really get involved with the community.
And you have many local owners that have their own dealerships that are Nissan dealerships. What are you seeing in terms of opportunities for these dealerships, and how's business going here in Houston for Nissan?
Well, business is going great. Nissan is a really strong brand here in the Houston area. But I cover everything from the Rio Grande Valley all the way into Mississippi. So it's a really strong market right now. And Nissan, with its core models and the car brands, is really connecting well with the community. Also with the dealerships here, we have about 12 different dealerships here in the Houston area, so they really draw a really huge following.
And I've been fortunate to meet a couple of the dealers and hardworking entrepreneurs with a lot of passion and enthusiasm. So once again, on behalf of the Emerging Leaders Institute and our foundation, we'd like to thank Nissan. And Sam, for your investment on behalf of Nissan, thank you for being here today. We'll be right back.
The magnitude of the type of presenters that we had there. It was just phenomenal. It really set the tone with having our mayor, kick it off, and follow through with a lot of different people with different backgrounds that really gave us the tools and resources that we need as young professionals.
I'm now in circles to where, especially with all the emerging leaders that are around me, they want to excel, and it makes you want to do more. And that's the main thing that I took away from the program. After the program, I now want to achieve and excel higher than I ever did before.
This year, you will have the opportunity to make your voice heard and contribute to the future of our city, our state, and our country. KHOU 11 and the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce encourage you to make a difference and cast your ballot during the elections this November. The registration deadline is Tuesday, October 11th, and Election Day is Tuesday, November 8th. Go out and get registered to vote today and make your mark on the future by voting this November. Visit harrisvotes.org for more information. On behalf of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and our foundation, we'd like to thank you for joining us here on CBS. We'll see you soon. Thank you.